The following is a Podcast One Minnesota production.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
If it's made in Minnesota, who's making it and how?
Yeah, you got that right.
It's the makers of Minnesota, focusing on the products and services uniquely made in Minnesota, and conversations with the makers, entrepreneurs, and innovators in Minnesota about how they conceived of their products and how they brought them to market. With Stephanie Hansen, it's the makers of Minnesota.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Makers of Minnesota podcast. I'm Stephanie Hansen, and this is our 46th episode, talking to very cool people around the Twin Cities that are doing cool things. I'm here today with someone who has developed something that I thought was really long overdue when I ran across it. Her name is Gina Green, and she's the inventor and founder of a company called Flopz. Hi, Gina.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I don't even know how I ran across your product, but I did, and I was like right away, like, oh, that's intriguing. So I'm going to let you describe your product, and then I'm going to tell you what I thought was so cool about it.
Right, and the easiest way usually is to see a visual, but the easiest way to explain it in words would be it's a pool floaty for pregnant women. So the dream of laying on your belly, once again, although you're in the water, hopefully cooling off and maybe getting your back tan at the same time.
I love the idea. Well, first of all, I love pool floats. I'm kind of obsessed with them, actually. I'm a sailor, and I will bring a pool float in my luggage across the country or in some cases, out of the country to have on a boat because there's nothing more than I love than just floating on a pool float.
Right. I don't know why pool floats are so fun. I love the water, so that's probably why it just all came about that way. And
so how long ago did you invent it, and were you pregnant when you thought of it?
well, unfortunately, I was never able to use the product.
Okay.
It was after all my kids were born.
Right.
So that's kind of a bummer always. And
how many kids did you have?
I have 4.
Okay.
And I came up with the idea just hanging out in the pool with the family and just thinking and I remember the last pregnancy, super hard, maybe just because it was the last one and my body was done. But whenever we went in the water, it felt so good. You just felt light and airy and just, when you had to get out of the pool, you feel so heavy. And I just kind of came up with the idea. I told my sister about it, my older sister. I just have one other sibling. And she more or less, a couple years down the road, she was doing something with business. And she said, that belly flops thing you talked about? Because I'd already kind of named it in my head as far as what I would call it. She said, you have to do that. I said, no way. I don't know where to start, have time to do it, that you're crazy. So my older sister made me do it.
So how did you know where to start? So what was your existing day job, or were you a stay-at-home mom? What was your...
Yeah, at the point that I started it, I stayed home after the last one was born. I stayed home just because it was getting to be too hard to do both. And I just started doing it at night. After the kids were in bed, I just was doing research. It was kind of when the internet was starting to really get, where you could get around.
Yep.
And figure it out, and then just slowly came about. Even found, the factory for China.
I was going to ask, I'm assuming a product like this is actually manufactured in China.
I searched and searched in the U.S. trying to get it because I like control. Mm-hmm. And I thought I would like to go to that factory every day and touch and feel and make sure it's all done. And just with my small runs, no one really wanted, to touch it.
Yep.
And couldn't, price-wise. So it did eventually have to go to China.
So you manufacture in China.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Belly Flops.
Correct.
It's the pool float with the stomach cut out.
Right.
So it looks like a long eclair donut, but where the stomach would be is where it's the hole.
The opening is kind of an egg shape.
And then you have a new feature or another feature that looks like you've added over time called the boob groove.
Right. I was going to call it the cup holders, but I thought that might get confusing because they might think I'm, promoting beer or something while you're pregnant. So I just called it the boob groove. And I just thought, and obviously with the growing chest area, that sometimes can be another hazard in your way when you're laying down. So
I'll tell you now why, when I saw this, it appealed to me so much. First of all, I did have a baby. I had one baby. She's 19 now, but I had her August 3rd. So in the depth of June and July's heat, I was pregnant, and I have a cabin, and I love pool floats, and this would have
Perfect.
been like the perfect thing for me. So that was idea number one, that I was like, oh, this is so cool. Number two, and I don't even know if you've ever even thought about this, but I'm also a breast cancer survivor, and I've had a double mastectomy. And what happens when you get a mastectomy is they put these like Tupperware things in your boobs that they blow up, and then they take the hard ones out and put the implants in, either water or silicone. But if you can imagine, when you lay down on your stomach, it's like hard, it's pressing. It's not very joyful to lay on your stomach anymore. And it's something that really becomes sad and kind of an issue if I was a stomach sleeper. So when I saw this, I thought, I wonder if she's ever thought about the idea of creating this for some kind of a mattress insert or something to go on top of a mattress for people that have had mastectomies or breast cancer.
No, I never have thought of that. Now, I know some people, even though we require that our product is used in the water because it's the safest way to use it, and some people I know will say that they've used it in their bed.
Yep.
You know, there's desperation.
Yeah, because it feels
like
so
I just
good
I want
to
sleep
get that pressure off your
somehow,
body.
Yeah. And there actually is a UK inventor, a female inventor her name is Emma Benson, who I reached out to many years ago when we both kind of came up with the idea. And her product is Holo, which is a similar concept, although she promotes it for land and water use. And we talk back and forth, and it'd be kind of fun if we could just work together. But obviously, geographically, it makes it a little difficult. But it's kind of been fun to share stories with her as well.
Sure.
But she does promote it, like I said, for the land. But I haven't thought of that idea.
And the boob groove part, I think, like right when I saw that, I was like, oh, yeah, because if you could just have some kind of something that you could lay in on.
Right.
With your horrible compressed boobs, having some padding somewhere, because you end up making all these like pillow mounds. And my husband, if you've seen
trying
our
to like
bed,
make your own little fort.
I have like
for your
10
boobs.
pillows. They're literally all the way around my body in weird configurations so that I can get the relief
Okay.
of the pressure of these just weird boobs off my chest so that I can just lay on my stomach or whatever.
I've always wondered that as well for just not only survivors and that have to deal with the implants, but people just in general. There's so many out there.
Yeah, that have had breast implants because
I always thought, is it comfortable
No.
to sleep on your stomach?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, they're heavy. They're heavy. They're tight. Not a lot of mastectomy folks, the implants are underneath their pectoral muscles.
Oh.
So it's a really uncomfortable thing. So something to think about for future.
No, I like
but I
that.
digress.
Okay.
So when you started, you have really cute graphic design. Did you do all the graphic design for your product, or did you hire someone?
Yeah, actually, the logo was my biggest hurdle in the beginning because when I come with an idea, I always think of name and color. It always comes first to the cute factor.
Yep.
Like, is it cute? And I hired a graphic designer for the girl. I wanted the girl to just be, when you looked at her, you just thought, it's funny, she's happy.
Yeah, cute,
I don't know,
happy, pregnant
just something
girl.
about that. And
Yep.
my graphic designer kept sending me really, very talented graphic designer, sending me, mermaid, pregnant mermaids, and, just very serious things. My sister, who's a pastry chef, she's also, she's great at everything. She's also a great artist. And I said, hey, I just want her to look at you, be funny. I want her belly to be big, all these things. She sketched it out on a napkin in like 2 minutes. And I said, exactly. But obviously, the advantage of being my sister, she might have known my interpretation of what I was thinking of. I sent it to the graphic designer, and that's how. My sister actually came up with the girl.
It's real cute.
She did it in
the
2
colors
minutes.
are cute.
Yeah.
I love your logo. How much did it, when you sat down, you resourced in China, you've got this prototype now. Do you remember how much it cost you to actually like make your first prototype?
It's usually a few $100s back and forth. Usually the shipping is expensive, back and forth. You're FedExing it overnight from China. There's obviously lots of different versions of the prototype. And I still now today feel, I still search once in a while around the U.S. just because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a control freak and I'm just really picky on the product. And it's an inflatable.
Yep.
So there's never 100% with inflatable, which is a bummer. So if I were to invent another product, I don't know if I could do inflatable. I'd want it to be something more dependable.
Yeah.
As far as, by the time they make it in China and you're not, going through every one, we have a representative that will check on the factory for me. I just worked with my last run. I worked with Whiteboard, if you've heard of them at Eden Prairie, and they helped me source it out because I was just thinking maybe I'm just not doing a great job of picking my factories. But I just think there's a certain level of quality that you have. And then the material I have around the belly opening is like a flocking, like a camping mattress that you'd have. Because I was really concerned with, I know a lot of pregnant women now are just out in their bikinis, the belly's out, and I don't want them sticking to that PVC.
Yep.
And kind of have that irritation on their skin. But at the same time, it also creates a little bit of, it's more expensive to do, a little bit more of a quality issue, I believe, flocking the material on there.
Yep.
So sometimes I wonder if I should just leave it off, and my next run I might redesign it just a little bit. But I've ordered a lot of floats just to get ideas on different fabrics that won't be quite as, can you imagine like it be around your belly and you're just, sucking off once you take it off. So that always concerns me. So I just want pregnant women to be happy, relaxing. And I have a soft spot for grandpas and pregnant women.
Okay. Well, so you're in the right spot.
Those are my
although
two
we need to develop
people.
something for grandpas.
Yeah, exactly.
When you decided you were going to go down this road and now you've got the logo and you've got the design, did you say like, I'm going to spend, $5,000 on this, and if I can make my money back, great. And if I can't, what was your thought process there?
Luckily, my husband's very supportive on the crazy thought process because sometimes I have too many ideas, and he's a good listener. And he supported me, and luckily he's dealt in business throughout many years. And he was supportive in the fact that, I think it's a good idea. And he's very logical in the way he thinks.
Yep.
Where I might be a little bit more,
So he's the analytical yin to your yang, as it were.
Yes.
So do you remember how much you decided to invest when you first started?
No, really, that conversation probably came about when we talked about how many are we going to run for our first run. Because obviously there's a price break wholesale-wise if you're running more.
Yep.
And then, you weren't sure how many you were going to sell. And I haven't really done any marketing. I'd love to spend a lot of money on marketing, but one's still in college, 2 out of college, one's still in college, and another one to be in college.
Yep.
In a few years. So tuition kind of takes a big chunk of that. So
does the product pay for itself? How much money do you think you've made over the?
Yeah, I would say, on average, right now I'm selling like 1,000 a season.
Okay.
And they retail for $39.95.
Yep.
And my season is kind of start trickling in around March and then done in August.
Yep.
Even when I had a retailer in Arizona carry them, she said, come September, we're closing our pools. We're here in Minnesota, we'd say, we'd be in our pools all year. What
completely.
Are you talking about?
Yep.
So I was surprised in the fact that, there'll be a few in the winter, but not many.
Do you have a distributor, or are most of the sales online?
Yep, just online.
Okay. So
it's kind of a one-man show at this point.
And have you ever done like Facebook marketing or any of that?
We did we're trying to dabble a little bit in the digital marketing because obviously that's where it's at.
Yep.
And obviously that's the most cost-effective way to get it out there. Facebook I'm not great at. I think Instagram is easier to use myself.
Yep. You do a lot of Instagram, I noticed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my children will help me once in a while if it's social media related.
Yep.
And they just shake their heads like, Mom, it's really not that hard. Even though I find, there's a little bit of learning curve, and it's just a matter of sitting down and learning some things, and we'll probably have to go that route.
Yeah, I would think with the market being pregnant woman, that would be a pretty defined market for you,
right.
And that could be a really useful tool.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's I have fun seeing where they come in from.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I have not been able to sell one in Alaska yet. That's the only state.
I have a friend that's there, and
which I can understand. But
did like a Facebook Live of a concert that he went to, an outdoor event, literally just this last week, and they were all wearing winter coats.
Okay,
and so I think that could be why.
And it would be fun to, at some point, I know that Australia would be a great market for this product due to the fact that their seasons are opposite,
yep.
which would kind of fill that void that we do have in the winter. I do have a lot of Australian customers that reach out, but the shipping cost is just so crazy. And, nowadays, no one wants to pay for shipping. I don't want to pay for shipping.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that's
is.
happened and changed the online business.
Mhm.
That whole Amazon Prime model, or it started, I guess, with the Christmas season where the retailers were competing for business, so it was free shipping.
Right.
I was in a business where we shipped a lot of products, and nobody wanted to pay for shipping, and it's not cheap.
No, it's not. And even the postal service raised my same size, same weight shipping, and it raised it almost $1. And I didn't raise it on my site just because I'm like, it's already, I feel too expensive, let alone my customers wanting to pay that extra, make up for that extra $1. And who knows how it'll keep. If I had the volume of Amazon, obviously, the volume is the key to get the lower rates for my shipping.
So in your day-to-day with your business, about how many hours a week do you think you spend on it now? Because you sound like you're interested in it, but you've got a lot of things going on, and maybe it's more of like a hobby, or am I not reading that right?
No, it's definitely something that I'm not pushing very far right now because it's manageable for myself.
Yeah.
And I feel I have to be a little bit more prepared to push it that much further.
Sure.
And, in a perfect world, I'm selling, there's around 3 million babies born in the U.S. a year.
Gosh.
I could just get like
a tiny smidgen.
I mean, even just like, if I get 10,000 instead of 1,000, I'm not necessarily doing it to be like crazy rich. I mean, obviously anyone would accept that, but
how many hours a week do you think you actively spend on it?
I would say in the busy season, I would say 3 or 4.
Okay.
Or a week. I'm sorry, 3 or 4 a day.
Oh, so okay. So it's more than 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Exactly. So definitely, feels part-time for sure.
And do you ever think about like going into distributor and like, hey, I'd like you to rep this in these stores? Or do you ever go to like to Pacifier down the street, which is a baby store here, and say, hey, do you want to carry my product? Do you do any of that?
Yeah, I have reached out. Retailers are a little bit more hesitant due to the fact that obviously shelf space to them is very,
a commodity.
Yes. And they might not know. I think they'd rather have something that they know they've already gotten some requests for or can sell and move off their shelves. And obviously mine's turned out to be seasonal. So, it would be obviously just a seasonal item. But I would for sure be open to any kind of
Okay, so if any local retailers hear this podcast, which I know you guys listen,
definitely
this is
reach
a
out.
Really cute product, and it would be a great seasonal product for your store and for showers. And you said you're kind of entrepreneurial, and I can see your mind working. What other kinds of ideas have you thought of, or do you think that you'll expand this at any point?
Yeah, at one point when I first started this, I wanted to do maternity swimsuits. The old, remember back in the day, monokinis is what they call them.
Yeah,
where they're kind of like this, and they look like
cutouts.
a bikini in the back. And I always thought, how great would it be to, have it just tie in the side, so when you're pregnant, you're just like, whoop, go to the bathroom, tie it up, it expands as you go, it covers the belly just a little bit if you want a little bit of modesty or coverage type thing. And then I just thought, once I started this product, I realized, wow, sizing and material, and wow, that's probably, that's going to have to be like a very full time.
I should hook you up with Jennifer Cermak from Naninalu, who's designing swimwear locally. She's been a guest on the podcast. She's had a child.
All the cool connections.
Yeah, because she's sourced all the material.
Right, I think that,
makes
that's
her own
such
suits.
a learning process for sure. And then I just wanted to be fun, like, a few classic ones, but one with a huge beach ball on it, and one with, like a lifeguard symbol. And, just having, because I think pregnancy is kind of funny as far as it's your only excuse in life to have this humongous belly. And I think that's funny.
And we're in a time which is unique. When I had a baby, we were still hiding it for the most part. We were wearing the giant tent dresses, and I'm not sure what we were hiding, but we were hiding. Well, now,
that made it look better.
Yeah, like the belly button has popped out, and the girls are wearing half tops, and they're fine with that. Right. And it's just a whole different, the Beyonce culture.
Oh, for sure.
It changed a lot of things.
It's all about the belly, and it's all about just showing it and letting it out.
Which I suppose is good for, this is what happens when you get pregnant, right?
Right. There's really no hiding it.
No.
So we weren't fooling anyone trying to hide it under the big
I look back
big tent shirt.
At some of the outfits, and you're just like, oh, that was so horrendous.
Why did I think I look cute?
Yeah, exactly. Have you, are you inspired by any local entrepreneurs, or do you like buy local and see like products and think, wow, that's so cool?
I do. I love to just shop around in little local shops, and I just find it really inspiring, and I have fun with it. You know, whatever I do come across, and sometimes I might buy something just to say, well, let me look at their packaging, and this is so cute how they did this. And,
Yeah.
wow, look at their great marketing and things like that. So that's definitely an inspiration for sure.
All right. Well, belly flops, how much are they? They're $39?
$39.95.
Okay.
Right now through July 4th, we have a coupon code for free shipping.
Okay.
And I would like to say it's a strategic business move, this podcast and the coupon code, but it just happened to fall.
I hope
right.
this podcast airs before then, because I've got a couple in the
that's
can
true.
already.
That's
So
true.
do you want to put it out there?
Oh, that you can, yeah. It doesn't matter. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, they're coming in pretty fast because I've tried to promote the coupon code a little bit to customers, and
Sure.
that always helps. The free shipping is
And-
always kind of a welcome thing.
It's Belly Flopz, FLOPZ, bellyflops.com, and you can go ahead and get your inflatable. Again, they're super cute.
And customers also like the fact that they don't look pregnant when they're laying on it.
Except
There's-
for
there's
the
many-
back fat. Because I never had back fat until one day, and this was again like that June or July time frame, and I was walking by a mirror in a dressing room and looked, and I was like, oh, I look like just like a rack of ribs, you know, with that whole extra like layer of
What does it
fat
mean when you
back
have it
there.
when you're not pregnant? What does that mean?
That just means
Okay,
age.
okay.
I'm pretty sure.
That comes with our age. That's a
Yeah,
welcome
we
thing
can
for
embrace
sure.
that. But yeah, I remember, I don't even know what that fat is called, but just literally feeling like a rack of pork
everywhere.
ribs where, yeah.
I always had to be a funny commercial of, yeah, obviously I can't afford a commercial at this point, but having a guy go up to the lady on the belly flops, and she comes out of the water and she takes it off, and she's got this huge belly.
Yeah.
You know, because that
Because she
has
looks
happened
super
before.
hot and sexy.
Yeah,
laying
because you
there.
can't see
Yes.
the belly. They're just in their little bikini, and they're looking all cute. So that's
And then
funny.
it's like,
yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, whoops.
All right. Well, it's Gina Green. It's Belly Flops. And you're on Instagram. And
Yes.
you're on Facebook too.
Yep, our website and everything. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. I think it's just a really cute product, and it's made in Minnesota. I know that you actually outsourced it to China, but you had the idea, and you live right here.
There you go.
Do your kids help you in the business, or are they entrepreneurial at all?
You know, maybe to the extent of possibly dropping off a shipment.
Sure.
You know, that's about, you don't want to ask too much from the kids.
Yeah. They'll look back on you, though, and think like, wow, my mom was doing this. And if they have an entrepreneurial spirit, it sounds like your husband might have a little bit, too.
Yeah, he does as well, but luckily he has the day job that
That's right.
that keeps us floating.
I
so to speak.
understand. That's kind of how we did it, too. So
Yeah.
thank you for being a guest on the podcast. Congratulations on Belly Flops, and I hope you sell 2,000 next
All
season.
right, let's go for 2,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.